I just thought I would start with something that for me has been very personal. I mean, I love the concept of digital, but I was absolutely digital resistant till a couple of years ago, not because of these, but because of the quality of the printers and the quality of the resins. What I saw was just terrible. I looked at a printed model and all I saw was waves. I couldn't tell what I was seeing. So my dental rave is really the improvement of digital printing the last couple of years. And I just like to say, Miguel, the thing for me, I mean, as involved as I've been in it, I was pretty digitally resistant up until recently, not because of these, not because of the scanners. Scanners are phenomenal today. I have a Trios and I have a Medit, but I just wasn't happy with what I saw with prints. I mean, it was the quality of the print. How did you feel about it?
No, that's true. Printing is and is still the limiting factor.
Yeah, okay. But it's gotten a lot better, and I want to share a couple of things with you.
Yeah.
I have all of these toys. I'm sure you have all these toys. The two printers that I would look at today that are very cost-effective for the audience out there is an Accuretta printer. It does a very good job. It's based on LCD technology. And then if you can wait a little bit, there's a company called Frozen, Phrozen, that's coming out with a 12K printer. So it will have a resolution of 25 microns, and that'll be sometime early next year. And so I just wanted to show you a couple images here. This guy that I'm working with, and I know Miguel and Richard both know, he has developed a resin, well, with my help, okay, but he's done most of the work. We brainchild together. By the way, if anybody's having any printing issues, please scan this QR code and talk to him. He'll be happy to help. But we're developing a resin. I wanted to show you the prototype of the resin we're playing with here. Okay, look at this image on the screen right here. This is your standard resin. Same model, same printer, just the quality of the resin. See how we don't see any reflection? And we don't see any of those little wavy lines. It's gonna be
now, how did you achieve that? What did you do different?
Okay, we're making our own resin, to tell you the truth.
It's our own resin, right?
Making our own resin, okay, and we're putting some little different components in it. And then the second part of it is Jed's intelligent enough that he can write code. So he's been going into the software settings of these printers and essentially altering the code to be able to get a higher resolution print.
So you're attacking it from two different ways, the composition of the resin itself and the software. I would have thought that the difference here was also the degree of conversion and how you're curing it to get that, I want to call it effect or result.
I can tell you, I saw a set of models from this stuff, and it's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, and it's a little bit curing too, okay? But obviously there's three parts. There's curing, there's also cleaning it correctly so you don't put it too long in acetone. It's going to be a whole system, and it's coming out. We're giving it to a company, and they're going to sell it, okay?
What's it going to give me that is better? So why the one on the right of the screen is better than the one on the left?
Okay.
Obviously, I can see the difference, but when it comes to dentistry, what am I getting that is better?
All right, so for a crown, it probably doesn't make a difference, okay? You got a 360-degree heavy chamfer, shoulder-ish type preparation. But if we're doing minimalistic preparations, veneers, where we're doing, maybe not knife edge margins, but 15, 20, 30-degree margins, that makes a difference if you're 50 or 100 microns off.
You mean for the model?
For the model, yes.
For the model, yeah.
Because then the restoration's got to fit that model, and then that's got to fit in the mouth. So it's just detail for the type of dentistry all three of us are online here espoused to. I mean, we're into minimalistic dentistry. Is saving as much healthy tooth structure as possible.
The problem that I would have in it with the models is, sure, the resolution that we have when we just get it might or might not be what we were looking for. The problem that I've been having is 36 hours later, that model is completely deformed. We might not be able to tell in your hand, but if you actually measure it with good tools, you're going to see that this warping of this post-polymerization and shrinkage of the resin that is actually making this model worse over time. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I think that's a post-polymerization problem.
Yeah.
And Jed, my digital guru, it's a joking slide, I call him the digital guru, is dealing with that, okay? Dealing with that in the software because it doesn't distort forever, okay? It basically, after it cures, there's a period of distortion, just like there's a period of curing, right, where we cure things. So all of this is being figured in the formula. What I can tell you from my end of doing the testing, of machining things and then fitting it back on a standard model that we scan, Jesus, we're in the 25, 30, 40 micron range, which we were nowhere near that before. So that's exciting.
It is very exciting. If you can figure a better model resin than the one you have, especially to me, that because in a way the resolution comes from the printer, but if the resin can be more stable, that will be a game changer. Because the way me and my lab, one of them is my brother, who's a lab owner, we've been working with it, is we should stop trusting the model. We use the model as a placeholder, and we just ignore it after a few cases, we realized that what he was milling was fitting the patient's mouth. We didn't get freaked out if the model wasn't perfect, but sometimes it sucks because you can't see the veneers on the model.
Imagine an accurate model that we could verify the fit, and maybe we can tweak it a little bit too. Okay.
How far are we from that, Ed, time-wise?
The resin's basically done. Okay. The software's done. We're just negotiating with a couple of companies that both want to carry it. Okay. And if nobody does, we're going to do it ourselves. We've already done put together a little business model.
Let's do it.
Not to make any money, but just
we'll take Vego down. I'm just kidding.
Everybody thinks they want to do things like that, but I mean, that's its own life, right? Its own full-time job.
Amazing that you're creating a resin. It blows my mind.
Well, we're co-creating that. Jed's doing really the heavy lifting. Yeah.
Let's take the prices. Just say it's you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all right. But hey, let me move on to my rant here a little bit, okay? And it speaks to some of our intro discussions and questioning from Richard. I'd like to ask the audience as they look at this beautiful young lady, do they like her teeth? Do they like the smile? Do they believe it's real? Do you think it's fake? I mean, it looks pretty damn good, right? I mean, it looks pretty straight and pretty Instagram-ish, let's say. And, you're pretty on the bright side and pretty, maybe even a little monochromatic. And you're saying to yourself, yeah, that works for me. That's most people, I would say. But let me just show you something, okay? And this is the thing that we're going to build to.
Oh, you're going to open the curtain, aren't you? You're going to go in. I knew you were going to do that.
This is the up-close view. And imagine if I showed some patients that. I showed the patients this view first. Most patients would say, because they don't know our profession, okay? They would go, wait a minute, what is this stuff here? What is this white spot? What is, there's a little bit of color here. I don't like this brown. Why is that? Okay, the point is, except as I understand and how to create things that look real, if I don't put some subtle contrast of color, if the dentist technician doesn't put subtle contrast of color, subtle contrast of surface texture, at this view, it looks fake as hell. This is the view that is the most important, okay, where it needs to look real. But what you don't see at this view, if you don't see it at this view, it looks fake at that real full face view. And let me prove that to you. Well, here's the before, just to show you before, okay? All right, now just one more case like that. Same thing if I showed you this first. You'd go, there's too much this, there's too much that. Look at the full face view. The full face view almost looks fake-ish. All right, let me go forward here. Now imagine this, I've seen this in 2 ads. This is a book and an ad for teeth. And if you show patients this, of course, doc, make my teeth white, make my teeth look like that. Okay? That's not the view that counts. All right, let's look at the full face view. This is the case that was on the right before. Does anybody think that looks believable? Right?
I have an answer for that. 99% of lay person think that looks good. And that begs the question,
don't believe
if 99% of people today think that looks good, doesn't that mean that it looks good?
If I really believe that, okay, and one of the things, okay, obviously we're trying to be as evidence-based as possible, but we all have our experiences, okay? I basically practiced in Beverly Hills for 30 some odd years when I was in UCLA. More than half of my patients were redos, okay? And they were typically people who came in looking like this girl on the right. And she had some veneer on the left, excuse me. They had some veneers and they said, hey, I wanted to redo my veneers. And there was maybe nothing biologically wrong. Shape was okay. Basic color, kind of okay, let's say. And I would ask, why? And I said, well, I went and I told the dentist I wanted white teeth. I wanted bright teeth. And they made these teeth for me. I don't like them now. Well, what don't you like? I mean, what changed for you? He says, well, I go and I meet people and they would say, nice new teeth. Where did you get them? And I didn't know the people. Some version of that, let's say, okay? And I started to realize that people thought knew my teeth were fake. I don't want that. I don't want to look fake. I want to look bright. I want to look beautiful, but I want to look believable, okay? So really what they want, what they truly want is that. Is that. For me to do that, bright, beautiful, but believable, I have to make the teeth up close look like this. And this, yes, it does take some education. I get it. Okay,
I'm going to take the devil's advocate position here. Okay. Go, Richard.
I wanted to say something on that, devil's. I know kind of where you're going with this, and I think what we're seeing today, I think that to a degree it's territorial because in our area in Southern California, we have an incredibly high standard because of a lot of the developments that were done here for the last 40 years. And I think people saw the evolution, but then I think you get to other parts of the country where they're not, like if I did things in my office that I see out there in other parts of the country, I'd have no more patients.
Right.
Because they're in tune to what they see in Southern California. So I think it goes around the country in different ways. But I think we need to educate.
All of us. I know Miguel does, you do, and I do. We get patients from those parts of the country. Obviously, they have to be able to afford a little better feed because they got something like we see on the screen here, and then they realized that they wanted something different. They educated themselves. Okay?
That's my point.
Let me do one more case, man. Look, okay, if I showed this to any patient, you showed this to any patient, they would love it. This view, okay? Maybe they would, okay? But what about that view?
All right. Yeah.
All right. Look at the midline's off. It looks like one big tooth. This is a beautiful person that now no longer has something that belongs to her. Okay. It does.
But isn't the entire face something that doesn't belong to her? Sorry, I don't know who the lady is.
Yeah. Okay. But I'm not putting any dentist down or stuff like this. Okay. But it's not bad, right? She's got a little cheek fillers.
Why would no? Oh, I got you. Oh, I got you. No. I'm gonna push back. You're looking at the cheek and you said, look, she has nice cheeks. And you didn't say, but look, there's a nice nose, it's a nice eyebrow. It's all fake. That doesn't exist in nature. It's so far from what exists in nature that actually we need to beg if looking natural is beautiful. And because if beauty is on the eye of the beholder, and that stupid phrase maybe it fits here. If beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and the beholder is millions of people, if millions of people think that this face is pretty, which I will say they will say that this face is pretty overall compared to the average, we have to look at fake eyelashes, fake skin tone, fake nose, fake lips, fake jawline, fake cheekbones, fake eyebrows, and a lift, and a neck lift. Everything, it does not exist in nature, yet they call it pretty.
Okay. Now, there's a point where you've gone too far, okay? Her facial enhancements aren't too much, okay? I've had some Botox, okay? I've had a little filler in here. That's what I've had done, and it's not too much. Okay, when you go too far, yes, when it stands out, when it's the topic of conversation, when somebody has their lips done and they walk into a room and their lips arrive 5 minutes before they do, it's too much, okay? So I can tell you, I've shown all of my patients this slide today.
Yeah.
And I say, what do you think? And they say, yeah, it's okay. It's a little bit, maybe a little bit this. Then I show them this picture, which is the same person. They go, yeah, that doesn't look right, does it? The patients say that to me. 100% of the patients say that to me, okay?
So, you know what's interesting, Ed, on that? I was taught years ago, I don't know if it was Fried, but I don't know who said that. I think you said it a lot too, is I've always asked my patients when we discuss veneers, I have two questions for you. When you walk out the door, do you want somebody to come up to you and say, oh, wow, where did you get your veneers? Or you want to walk out and have people say to you, oh my God, your teeth are so beautiful. I wish I'd had teeth like that. Who did your facelift?
Right.
And
the whole point.
That's the question. And that's the key. And I think that's been my whole thing for 35 years or 38 years, as long as I've been doing veneers. That's literally been my opening statement when I sit down with a patient.
And we all have friends that are plastic surgeons. More of the plastic surgeons today are telling me they're doing retreats because patients thought their face was overdone, too tight.
Exactly.
Do that. Okay. Now, one more case, and I'm done. Okay.
Yeah. Take yourself. Okay. You don't have to be done.
I want to give you yours. Okay. So as I show this is a before and after. Which one's the before? Which one's the after? Obviously, this is the after. And this dentist, by the way, these dentists, here's the thing, that they don't show the full face. When you show the full face, you can't find many dentists that have the guts to show the full face because it doesn't look right. But look at before and after.
Yeah, we're thinking too much of this dentist.
Watch this, guys, okay? Now, I show my patients this too. I did this a while ago. I found this a while ago. Now, watch the next slide. Then I show the patients, what if I did this to you? Which one do you like better now? They go, yeah, but it's still a little dark for me. Okay, let me digitally bleach it and close that space. Which, if that person walked in the room, 100% of the non-dental people would love that smile. After talking to this person for 5 minutes, okay, when you're standing this close, 5 minutes, you would know that that's fake. You would just know that that's artificial. And that's why I'm here. I'm here, okay, we're going to get 99% of the people that are going to say they like that image first, but my job is to change that because I know. And dude, thank God there are dentists out there doing this crap because we get to redo it. It's great and a lot of work for us. All right, guys, sorry about the term.
We're gonna skip my rant because we can rant within this one. And what I want to do to have is the three of us agree here on what you're saying. And the three of us, since we were technicians and dentists in the 2000s and in the 90s, we aim to do what Miguel told us, which is replicate age. Okay? And that was what the message that was coming to us. And we believed it. And why wouldn't we? And we would be proud to deliver something that blends in and disappears. And we will tell our patients, like Richard say, and I still do today, I say, hey, I don't want you to go out. And people say, oh, you did your teeth, right? I am going to question, though, if that which we think is how people should see things is still relevant. Right now, people want white teeth and people want other people to notice it. It has flipped in a way that I'm not saying that I agree with it, but if that's what people want, what are we going to do? Because people don't want people to notice that their lips are like this. They're not trying to hide their filters.
I'm going to push back a little bit, okay? I'm going to agree with a lot of that, okay? What I believe people want, or most, you're going to find exceptions, right? They end up on botched TV shows and plastic surgery and stuff like that and doing.
Great show, by the way.
But what people watching the search, right? What I believe, what they want enhancement. They want to look like not average. They want to look like the best looking person out there, but people to still guess, is it real? Okay? That's not nature. I get it, that's not nature, but it's not fake white, blocky square, no chroma. And they use the word white. They don't want white. They want bright. They want bright.
Right.
Bright is not white. Okay? There is a teeny bit of chroma. And remember those two cases I showed you of the two girls that were done that looked very bright in the full face. And that's why we're here. We're educating. We get that. I hear that all the time when I first meet a patient. Yes, I want white. I want people to notice. But I said, do you want people? Then my follow-up, and you all do the same thing, I'm sure. Do you want people to know it's fake? Well, no, I don't want to look fake, but I want to look great. Okay, great. That's a different.
But see, we're going into a whole nother area on all of that too, because dentists are not wanting to take the time to educate because it doesn't create a monetary quick money in the pocket. Number two,
that's a different issue.
Patients, exactly. And then the energy of educating and doing, you have to have a technician who can pull it off. And many of the technicians we work with don't fit within the fee structure model of the rest of the country. So I've talked to a lot of dentists about this who are doing things I don't completely agree with. And their argument is, hey, the patient's got this amount of money and that's what they want to do. And, you got to give them what they want. I like that one.
Richard, but again, pushing back, okay? With the digital today, it's quite possible to design something with the better materials that have the shape of teeth, that have a subtle gradient of chroma, without a heck of a lot of extra work for the technician, okay?
And I believe, and that's what the dream is for all of us.
Yeah.
That to me is what the dream is in the future, is that we can create that because we're losing master technicians.
We can move into that space.
If we look at fashion through the 20th century, and now we're a quarter into the 21st century, every 10 years you can see that things change, right? You look back and you can call the 80s, you can call the 70s, you can call the 90s, the 2000s, whatever. You can call them, right? If you look at the 80s, very distinctive, right? The way people dressed, the way people did their head, the way they used the shoulder pads, and the way they did the crazy makeup and the leggings, right? At that point, that looked good to all of you. I wasn't there. That looked good to all of you. And people will do that to themselves, and they will come out to the street and be happy that people will see them like that. Now, that was all hair, makeup, and plastic surgery was kind of like coming to a point for those who could afford it. I believe that what's happening now is the same thing, but with our actual DNA, meat, bones, and teeth. We're doing it inside as much as we're doing it outside. And for the people that get that, for most of the people that get that white horrible smile that the ones you show, they leave the dentist super happy. That's what they went looking for. Now, you and I can agree or disagree, but by the fans today, that's what they want. And then there's millions who don't. I'm in suburban, upper middle class Massachusetts, outside of Boston's. I've yet to deliver a 0 and 1. I'm yet to deliver a 0 and 1. 1 and 1 is the brightest I have delivered. They don't want more than that. So I'm not saying everybody, but there's a humongous amount of people, especially between 15 and 30, that want everything that lady that you show has, and for them, that's beautiful.
Okay, well, let me say something to that then. Okay, theoretically, okay, I get the fashion, I get the decades and everything changes, but all of that stuff was external, pretty easy to change, okay? By definition, a cosmetic, okay, versus something that's aesthetic, okay? Now, as a health practitioner, as a dentist, I would be okay with that if somebody did it digitally without destroying the teeth, okay? Without prepping the crap out of the teeth so that the patient has lost biologically significantly. If it's just a little facing that somebody bonded on that didn't screw up their occlusion or their gingiva, fine, we can take it off later and fix it without much destruction, okay? And by the way, we all do a lot of that, okay? And you're right on the day one. They love it on day one, day two, day three, then they start to realize it isn't them. And some of the people, you're right, we're never going to touch all of them, but that's our job here.
I am as concerned as you are. I was having this conversation with my wife. You say you do a little bit of Botox. I'm yet to touch it, even though I give it to my patients. And my wife is yet to touch it. Yeah, I'm getting to 40, right? So my conversation with my wife is, I said, we don't know what Botox does when you use it 45 years. We don't know what fillers do when you use it 45 years. And I do know what happened to all these teeth that get botched in 45 years. So the concern, I share it with you. I'm not agreeing with this. But I think before everybody but wanted a better smile naturally, that looked natural, now we have a large segment of the population that want that you show. And I wonder if millions of people think that something is pretty. And how can I say this? I do not think, this is a good one. I do not think Kim Kardashian is pretty whatsoever. However, millions of people think she's pretty. So is Kim Kardashian pretty or not? Is it by consensus or is it by opinion?
They're told that they think she's pretty.
Well, okay, part of it is they equate her success, real or fake or imagined, and then they attach that beauty to it, okay? So there's some confounding psychological factors there.
Well, but I told to that. They're told to believe she's beautiful.
Okay, I'll give you another one. I never thought Angelina Jolie was pretty. I thought she was hot, but I never thought she was pretty. Yet, the world at the time, remember, she's the prettiest woman in the world, right? For a little bit. So,
well, again, okay, let me interject though. I know we can pull all kinds of examples in here, and I agree, and that's sort of fashion trend. Okay, but then let's revert back to where we're health practitioners. We want to make sure people don't hurt themselves. So I think all three of us would agree if a patient wanted square white, fake white teeth, and we could do it without damaging them, without taking off hardly any tooth structure that left them all the previous options. If they changed their mind, we could use a laser and get them off. Great, okay, a fashion trend. The part we're trying to educate, or I'm trying to educate, we're all trying to educate, is before a patient makes a mistake that changes their life, okay? That they really regret and affects their biology, their health, their occlusion, their pocketbook, if they're not really well informed.
No, that's very true. And all I was just saying in my observation of dentistry today is some of us came out of the late 70s, early 80s, where all of Hollywood was picket fence, super bright white. And the close of the 70s, well, guess what? This new generation, styles have gone back to the 70s, and they're back to teeth that look like the 70s, only with a little bit better anatomy and design. It all comes around.
All right, but there's an important point to add that we haven't touched on, but we all know, but let's tell our audience, is there's a difference in camera and TV aesthetics, right? When you're on camera and you got a bunch of lights, it hides a lot of the failures, a lot of the defects. That the difference is 99% of people on Earth were at conversational distance. And that's really where they want the aesthetics, okay? So yeah, I hear you, buddy, and that's, again, why we're educating.